Bill Kovach, Blur, How to Know What's True in the Age of Information Overload. In the era of endless internet-based information, the book Blur, by Bill Kovach offers guidance on navigating through the overwhelming world of news consumption. Users of our mobile book summary app can expect an insightful look into the challenges and concerns of sifting through countless sources of news, opinions, gossip, and more. The book emphasizes the importance of vetting the content we consume by suggesting a skeptical approach and practical six-stage method. As journalism evolves, the summary discusses multiple emerging roles and highlights the need for a shift in focus towards informative, reliable, and relevant reporting in order to better serve the modern reader.
Self-service news. The way people consume news is changing, with self-service becoming increasingly common. Traditional media like newspapers and TV compete with countless internet-based sources. People are creating their own news packages by picking and choosing from the vast amount of information available. This raises concerns about the reliability of information and the cracking of traditional media's business models. The internet has separated editorial content and advertising, with companies like Craigslist taking revenue from established media. Employment has dropped in traditional media, threatening their reliability and relevance. However, classifying and qualifying information correctly is a skill anyone can learn. The true gap in information intake now exists between careful and careless news consumers. Mastering skepticism for news literacy. Lay readers can learn to question information for themselves by following 6 stages of skepticism. Journalists exercise skepticism by questioning what others tell them and relying on first-hand information instead of hearsay. This approach requires classifying content to determine its comprehensiveness and assessing its source, evidence, explanation, and relevance. By practicing these techniques, news consumers can engage with information proactively and become better equipped to determine its validity. A news literacy course at the State University of New York at Stony Brook teaches students to categorize content as journalism, propaganda, advertising, publicity, entertainment, or raw information. Forms of journalism. This summary explores the different forms of journalism and their impact on news distribution. According to the author, journalism can be produced in 4 forms: verification, assertion, affirmation, and interest group focus. Out of these, the journalism of verification values accuracy, while the journalism of assertion prioritizes speedy communication over thoughtful reporting. The journalism of affirmation selectively conveys facts to affirm what their audience already believes, with minimal contextual background and fragmentary reporting. The last form, interest group-focused journalism, flows from biased, industry-funded studies designed to resemble objective research. The advent of non-stop cable TV news programming, 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, led by Cable News Network, CNN, has bolstered the spread of the journalism of assertion. In addition, the growth of the internet has fortified the media culture of continuous, endless news delivery. With purveyors of the journalism of affirmation focusing on celebrating their audience's opinions, consumers should be watchful for an inherent passivity on the part of journalists whose priority is reporting information immediately after it becomes available, usually without the filter of formal editing. The summary concludes with the author's caution to be alert to the likelihood of manipulation when multiple sources use the same language to describe an issue or event. The art of professional journalism. Professional journalists use a checklist of who, what, when, where, why and how to ensure their news articles are complete and credible. They go beyond standard reporting by publishing lengthy reports to give context to the news. They also use a variety of sources, including eyewitness accounts, second-hand information, and expert opinions, to make their reports more believable. Aspiring journalists should seek humility in asking questions that cannot yet be answered, acknowledge what they do not know, and avoid inferring conclusions that cannot be proved. Distinguishing reliable news reports. The renowned war correspondent, Homer Bogart's approach to reporting, involved portable ignorance, where he avoided assumptions and instead reported from the battlefield. Portable ignorance can also be applied in evaluating news reports to distinguish reliable news organizations from unreliable ones. Readers can assess the quality of evidence by considering the nature, source, integrity, conclusiveness, and the evidence that supports the conclusion. Adequate, relevant, and tested evidence can support a clear conclusion. However, incomplete or irrelevant evidence can fail to suffice as indisputable proof. By applying portable ignorance to news reports, readers can improve their ability to differentiate high-quality news reports from poor ones. Disciplined objectivity in news consumption. To be a discerning consumer of news, be mindful of untested assumptions and look for errors of omission. Use the null hypothesis approach and seek alternative explanations that enhance the credibility of any news report. Informational relevance, not just reliability, should be used to identify news that matters. Careful consumption of news requires consistent consideration of its depth of reporting to evaluate the significance of a story's new information or just a minor update. The challenge for newsroom organizations is that they are a declining business on one platform and an emerging one on another, thereby struggling to adapt and being compelled to experiment with their offerings to still be appealing. The future of journalism. Citizen, gatekeepers, and the evolving roles of journalists. In today's digital age, average citizens have taken on the role of gatekeepers, traditionally assigned to professional journalists. Thanks to technology, news consumption has evolved from an activity restricted to a specific time or medium to a constant grazing of headlines across multiple devices. Despite these changes, journalism is not disappearing, rather, it will undergo a transformation. As traditional gatekeeping operations fall away, other functions will take their place. 8 critical roles will become more prominent in the future. First, journalists will become authenticators of news, providing transparent evidence to support their reports. They will also serve as sense-makers, connecting threads in multiple reports to provide broad coverage that makes sense of breaking news stories. Additionally, the news media will continue their watchdog role in investigating government activities. The significance of this function will increase as citizens seek more accountability from their representatives. Journalists will also bear witness to public activities and provide space for citizen journalists to participate through local partnerships. Moreover, journalists will empower the audience to learn and understand various subjects with self-service tools. As smart aggregators, they will curate information from the best websites, offering unique news filtering services. Furthermore, journalists will organize fact-based discussions of public issues, presenting diverse opinions, and also act as role models for citizen journalists. In essence, the evolution of citizen gatekeepers has led to a shift in the focus of journalism, creating new opportunities for journalists to deliver valuable content to their audience. While seeing may be believable, transparency, fact-checking, and the watchdog function remain critical components in maintaining a healthy democracy.
The summary of eBlurg exposes the complexities and pitfalls of consuming information in today's digital world, while imparting the valuable skill of distinguishing reliable sources from the rest. By employing a skeptical approach and the 6-stage method, readers are empowered to classify, assess, and judge content in a more meaningful way. The book also emphasizes how journalism is becoming more intricate and complex, requiring journalists to adapt to various roles that were previously overshadowed by the gatekeeper role. In conclusion, the summary underlines the need for both journalists and consumers to cultivate a more discerning, vigilant, and informed approach to news consumption in the age of information overload.